Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to share with you a clip from a recent Thursday Night Live. These are with my members only. If you want to participate, come check out the YouTube community tab and get involved. In this one, we're going to talk about all things Splinterland bots, like Archmage bot, whether it's fair, whether it's cheating. We're also going to talk about Splex GG and like automated rental systems. We're going to talk about the future of Splinterlands, if these sort of technologies and third-party applications continue to grow. And it's a back and forth conversation with myself, Crypto Llama, and Jim Morgan. It's a great kind of almost debate. So I hope you stick around and stay tuned for this one, and like and subscribe. Have an amazing day. God bless. Llama, thanks for coming to hang out tonight. And Jim, you too, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
I did have a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. In particular, I mean, there's so much new that's happening, and I think, you know, the rank, like we just said, the modern versus wild revision launch.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How much of a difference does it make? Just this, like the interface, you know, even just with the blue and the red, sort of the filters or whatever on these wallpapers in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know, just that a simple change like that for me, it's like, oh my god, it's like a new game.
Yeah, it feels like it really refreshed it. You know, like I used to play a lot of Apex Legends, and every season you see like a new wallpaper, and like it's a different vibe, and this is definitely doing that for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
and actually on that point, it would be cool. It would be kind of cool if they were rotating different images and stuff in the background too, just to freshen it up.
I just got an Archmage bot, and I'm letting it run on my alt, and it started in novice, and now we're up in silver 3, and
how much power did you delegate to it?
170,000.
170k.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
that
I might
be able to do you quite well.
I think so, and I think I'm gonna, like, I've got a lot more that I could put here, because I'm kind of feeling like I'm too busy to do like a proper rank grind. And so this is going to be one opportunity for me to get some of that opportunity, get some of that play, like put some of my cards to actual work for, you know, creating assets for me. But I'm also using Splex to rent out my assets. And man, like good amount of DC, like 32,000 DC 3 days ago, 25 yesterday, 16 today. And
I haven't bothered doing this because I don't have a decent enough deck to be. Obviously, you've been playing for longer than me, and your CP is quite extensive. But yeah, I just don't. I figure that the majority of the cards that I have, I just try and max them out because it's a diamond deck. And I kind of use them, especially if I'm playing Dragon, for instance, and I'm jumping into different, you know, all different splinters. So I haven't really jumped into this yet. What about you, Jim? Are you using this as well and making any decent DEC from it?
No, I haven't used the rent golem yet. I've just been pretty much using all the cards I have and using the Archmage bot.
Right. Okay. So you're making DEC that way anyway.
Yeah. Rather than just renting the stuff out. And I have done it in the past where I was like, well, I'd rather just get the DEC from renting out rather than the chest and all the cards. But I'd also really like to start getting more cards. So
yeah, the DEC for me is neither here nor there. I just want the actual NFTs.
Yeah. Whenever I get any sort of DEC, I think to myself, you know, how can I put it to work? Like maybe I go into buy in the market and use some of this DEC that I'm accumulating to actually pick up some of these cards, because there's some crazy deals. Like I was looking at the CP to cost ratio last night. Look at this, like 1,250 CP to dollar.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's another thing. Another way to on Splex GG, reward lookup. You can shows you the APY rent and over the year, and when it will pay itself off.
Yeah.
These cards too. So which is really handy if you're looking to purchase cards to rent them out.
Is that right? Really, cool. So Splex will Splex will tell you.
Yeah. So if you
go ahead,
if you on your screen, if you go up to accounts and go to SL Expert. And then you can view the cards, view the cards, and it will show you the APY rent. and the SPS, obviously that's not going to be much because the airdrop's about to finish. But the combined APY rate and how long it's going to take to pay this off with the current renting prices of that card. Which is kind of cool, just to know, like within a year I'm going to pay this card off, but presumably it will be. There's a lot of things which need to be taken into consideration there, like the price of DEC and all that kind of stuff. So on the right hand column there, you see the amount of days that it'll take to pay that card off.
That's so,
in DEC.
That's so wild.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I was looking.
You can kind of work out. You can work out. How long it's going to take you to pay off that card. And
interesting.
And as I mentioned here before, the APY, it says SPS as well. Obviously, that's not going to matter, that column, too much anymore because of the SPS airdrop's about over.
Yeah,
it combines the APY of what that card's worth in your to your SPS airdrop.
Yeah, interesting. Really cool. I didn't know about this feature.
But completely different to bot farms because it's essentially just helping out players rather than people with thousands and thousands of accounts. We're not purchasing these tokens to purchase thousands and thousands of them, and I don't even think that there's that many in circulation. But for the tokens to be able to use these bots, so what's the chat's thought on these new products like Archmage and Splintermate and things like that?
They'll probably take them a minute to send their comments through, but I've noticed this one earlier today. Dennis Van Schaik dropped a comment on my most recent season reward video, and he said, "Hey 12, I seem to notice a lot of people reacting negatively upon arrival, and ultimately the results of the Archmage bot gets no effort of playing at all. People seem to fear the game turning into bot versus bot. Do you think the Splinterlands team, after a while, will decide to block bots if they get better and better?" IGN, yeah. So I think this is the sentiment. I agree. This seems to be the sentiment that I'm hearing more and more in comments, and also I saw. Who did I see covering it? I feel like I saw Bulldog recently cover something bot related, and people were quite critical. And
Aftersound talked with one of the lead people in Archmage, Max Power.
Yeah, and how
he did a live stream.
I saw part of that.
Yeah, I've also got one happening on Tuesday as well with one of the founders too. Speaking.
That's awesome. What time is that out, Llama?
That's GMT plus 8, 6 p.m. GMT plus 8 on Tuesday.
Okay.
I have no idea what time that is.
That's okay. Coming out this week, guys. Yeah, that's. I mean, like, I have one critical comment on the Archmage. Like, I first of all, Archmage is very powerful. Like, I've heard. I'm enjoying it. Jim's enjoying it. I heard videos being covered by Tales from the Cryptmancer, and he has it fight. Last season it reached into Champion 2, which he's never been to Champion 2 as a human player with his deck, but he gave him the same deck, and the bot made it into Champion 2 like really easily. And
so good.
Yeah, and so
I can see the grin behind that statement, Jim.
Yeah,
it's so good, man.
And if you look at the play here, this is my account. The red names are losses: 1, 2, 3 losses, 4. This one was me playing, so 3 out of 17 losses. So 17 and 3 for the bot. And mind you, it's got 170,000 power, so maybe you might say it's way too overpowered for silver, and that's why. Okay, fine, but like I just said, Tales from the Cryptmancer used it with, like, I think he said 550,000 power or something, and he was up in Champion 2, which he's never touched before, and he considers his deck a diamond deck with a lot of gold cards, and so it's a powerful bot, and yet they aren't giving it to everybody, and so
that's the part I like.
That's the part that I like too, but that's the part that people could maybe be critical of. because it's like, oh, it's just for certain like special people and we can't even get it. And it's super annoying that like, maybe that's what some people, that's the vibe for some people. I don't know. Jim, have you noticed anything like that on either your live streams with Splinterlands TV or for that matter, anywhere else?
The people that say it's for the special people, it's not. It's just a premium bot, and either you have to be really quick at getting it in these next couple weeks, or hope you're able to get it for the main launch, or you just have to spend a little extra money to get it on the secondary market.
Yeah.
It's not just for, streamers, content creators, whatever it is. But like the bot is ridiculously good. And since there's a limited amount of them, I guess someone could do this. Someone can't just have like 1,000 accounts running it, right? And that's always the worst part about the bots, is just someone could be like, oh yeah, I have 1,000 bots. I have 2,000. I have a couple hundred.
Yeah. That's the, I agree. It's like,
so just to let you know right now, because each token on Hive Engine at the moment is going for $68. Yeah, that's what, if you're looking at 1,000 counts, that's like nearly $70,000 that you're paying. But there's not even that many. There's not even that many in circulation. You couldn't even do that. It's not possible to actually.
Wouldn't it be 70,000 if it's like $70?
Yeah, that's what it's, close to $70,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $68 if you're looking for 1,000. But yeah, there's not even that many in circulation, so that's not even possible. Which is good. And I think that it's responsible from the devs doing it that way, because then it could. I don't know what they're planning on doing in the future though. Obviously it's more profitable for them to sell more tokens.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not sure either, but it feels like to me, this is like if I had to guess from like a business standpoint, I would imagine this is like a trial period where they want people to see how powerful it is. They want it to be talked about. Oh, it's like unique and it really wins. But then, if it ever gets to a place where it's like, it's just available, they give as many away as people want to buy, which they could, then it's not really going to be uniquely powerful anymore, because it's going to be facing off against itself in many instances and players in other instances. And so, and they don't care, like in the long run, Archmage doesn't really care, if that happens, as long as it's got a great, exceptional reputation right now. And then there's all kinds of talk about it. And then, because the more people that are using it later, as far as I understand, we have to pay like a proportion of our season. Jim, is that true? Like, do you have to give them a certain amount of your earnings?
Yeah, so it is fee based, and depending on what rank you play at, that's how much of the fee percent is. So
and
bronze,
it
it
on
is
what token you have as well, whether you have the alpha, beta token. Or...
Yeah, and then discounts depending on if you're in beta or alpha. But the baseline for it is, I want to say it's 35% or 33% for bronze, 25% for silver, 15 gold, and then 10% for diamond and champion. So if you're playing in diamond and you put in 1,000, essentially you give them 1,000 DEC, they pretty much don't charge you until you reach that 10,000 back.
So I do think,
but with this as well, if you are putting these, if people are purchasing these bots, and they do allow it to be for everyone, then this is also increasing the value of everyone's cards as well, because all those bots, if you're saying that they're going to be in champion, they have to have a champion deck. So that increases rental prices, that increases the price of cards as well. So
that's a great point.
It's all relative really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point, because at the end of the day, if this unlocks the ability to put more decks, more accounts to work, then those need to be equipped with cards. Bobby Blankenship said, "Don't care about bots, just want to play." Yeah, I think there's a ton of people who are going to be in that boat. It's like probably going to be more the bigger people with like multiple accounts. Like me, I've got about 5 million power. I can't possibly use it all myself. Like yeah, even if I put it all into one account, it's way too much to actually, like, I really only need probably 600,000 power on one account to achieve like a high level of success, probably the capacity that I'm capable of really doing with my own skill set. And then the other is just like overkill. At times there's tons of amazing cards that you guys would love to own even one copy of, and I don't even play them. They just sit on the bench. And so it's like, well, now that I've got this bot, like I'm looking forward to the opportunity to like actually see rewards that I keep, you know, being automated, and like my unlocking some of the power of what I've accumulated here. And it will probably incentivize me to go deeper on accumulating even more resources and putting together even more high level decks, because it's like, oh, I could maybe do more than one Archmage by buying a $60 or $70 token. And then paying that nominal fee, but actually, because I have such long-term confidence both in the price appreciation of the cards, and also some assets to spend, it's like it kind of just it will work for a guy like me. And that's where William says the mainstream sentiment from content providers has shifted to pro bot. If you can't beat them, join them. And I think something true about that, in the sense that like a lot of the content creators are saying things like, hey, this is interesting. You know, I will use bots in certain contexts. I mean, personally, I've never been against bots. Like I've done videos on the channel. I've said things like, you know, when people say like bots are terrible, they're ruining the game, they should get rid of them, I always say, no, that's not true. I always say that, you know, first of all, you can't get rid of bots. Second of all, even if you could, that would be a centralized authority thing, which is part of the reason that it's the antithesis of why I came here. I wanted decentralization. I wanted, anonymity, and then not KYC and, hey, you running this or you're doing that and you're out. So like personally, I've never been like outright against them. I think they create certain exploits, but I think the team is trying to quell that or whatever. And I think that's all we can really ever ask, at least in my opinion.
Yep. I think there's some truth in that statement, but then also I'm against bots largely in the way of bot farms. And I'm against bots in the way that they can farm the majority of players' rewards. Now, if that's not the case, then I'm pro bot. If it's specific users where, like for instance yourself, Dwayne, where you got a bunch of CP that's not being utilized correctly, then yeah, that's fine. You're not spreading that over thousands and thousands of accounts and eating up, you know, all these rewards of the Splinterlands player base.
Yeah.
You're not doing it in a way that's exploitive or detrimental to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Whereas the bot farms are, and they're taking out, you know, the rewards which should be going to players. But if it's just, you know, if it's an account here and there, that's fine. And especially if the tokens are limited in supply anyway, then it's not making a meaningful difference. And as I mentioned as well, now that we're splitting the reward with SPS rewards, now we're splitting that, it's even even further mitigated, so that the bots can specifically not do that and not steal everyone's rewards.
William's making a comment that I'm not sure what to make of, but I'm going to say it and you guys can weigh in. He says, Max Power, who is one of the guys for Splex, he's also a dev for Splintermate, and he talked about Splintermate in a previous comment. Splintermate is a bot that can be told to play in Modern or Wild, but the majority of bots are stuck in Wild. He said, so he's also a dev on Splintermate, and he said you don't have to fight the Splex Guardians for the Archmage token. The service is cloud-based, and it costs $1 per month. The service is farm-friendly, though. And so this is like a different service he's talking about, Splintermate, that I have never heard of until now. Yep. And so it sounds like it is farm-friendly, and I do think there's something, there's like a grain of truth to this. Could lead to just like bots versus bots, and it's not even really playing anymore. And I don't like that world, but I don't know what we do about that, in the sense of, you know, you like, you know, like look at drinking laws, and wherever you guys are from, you probably can't drink and drive, but maybe you can't even drink on the beach, right? In Canada, you're not allowed to go have a bottle of wine or a single beer on the beach watching the sunset with your girlfriend or whatever. There's it's illegal.
No public drinking.
Yeah, it's illegal. But here's the strange thing. Like, think about that. That means that, you know, well-meaning, like innocent, like a person who's just gonna have one beer and sit there with their you know, their wife or their husband or whatever and enjoy an evening is a criminal. But it's like, who's gonna, do you think that law is gonna stop any actual belligerence, any actual public drunkenness? No, because those people don't give like two hoots about what a rule says or doesn't say. They're gonna get drunk anyways. And so I feel like that analogy applies here in the context of bots, where if we said, you know, for instance, Dwayne, you shouldn't be allowed to use this bot because, hey, it's going to actually incentivize all these other people to try and use it. I don't think that's true. I think those people are going to find ways that they already are. Tens of thousands of them are already botting. And maybe it's a less effective bot. I don't know that really matters. It's just as interesting. Like, I don't know how to handle something like this. And so,
but
yeah,
this is why we have laws. This is why we have laws, right? So we mitigate that by putting these laws and regulations in place, which is essentially what Splinterlands does. They're adding everything to mitigate the damage that this does, and we can see that they understand what's happening, and they more than anyone can see the numbers on the back end, and how much money's been taken out of the ecosystem from bots, and that's not the aim. The aim is for players to be profitable, and so that's where I think their policing will come in, and they've been doing this. They've been showing us that they're doing this by, you know, the initial ones were taking out the starter cards, you know, and then the new focus system and how our focus and rating and cards and all that kind of stuff comes into play as well. So they're policing this. They're the ones who are policing no drinking on the beach, or, you know, at least mitigating it somewhat. Yeah,
but the problem at the end of the day is, who does the law stop? Does it ever really stop a criminal? Does it ever stop somebody who's really malicious and desires to set up a 10,000 bot farm? You know, and look at wind trading. Like, wind trading is not allowed, but certain people are absolutely doing it. And Tales from the Cryptmancer has heavily covered and clarified this point. And so it's like, yeah, you can make these rules, but like, you know, the law-abiding people who are front-facing are really going to ever be held to account for these rules. I don't know how to get around that reality, but I think that's a reality we're facing when we say things like, bots are a problem, we need to get rid of them, Splinterlands should do something, you know, all of this type of sentiment. I don't really know that there's an end to that conversation. Like, it's a total transformation of this game into some other game, into some centralized type game, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that we're ever going to be able to stop it. We're never going to be able to stop the bots, or never going to be able to stop this type of behavior. All we can do is slow it down, or make it more fair.
Yeah, and those are worthwhile pursuits.
These different rules.
Yeah, those are worthwhile pursuits. Like trying to make it more fair. That's a great goal to like aim at.